kneeling on the hotel floor, my pants kind of down, and there's a man I've never met before approaching me from behind. I'm just going to tell you a little story. You know, that time I was in Paris. So my dad, he died in 2004. 2013, or as we say 2013, my friend and I took a trip to the UK. Now the purpose of this trip was so that I could return my dad's ashes to Caerphilly in Wales, which is where he was born. And my friend and I had saved really hard, and we stayed in London with my friend's sister. Yeah, it was a really cool time, a few special memories created. I'm terrified of flying, and so is my friend Rosemary. Hi Rosemary, by the way, if you're watching, love you. And yeah, we were both really scared on the plane. Kind of had to settle down after about the first 15 hours of flying. You realize that you're stuck in this little tin can, which should not be up in the sky, people. What holds it up there? So when we're coming down to land, we could see things on the television screen in front of us, some kind of screen, and we were getting very nervous because we could see this formation in front of us, and we're going, oh my gosh, what's that thing, and we're kind of clinging on to each other. We're heading right for it, we're going to crash into it, and so forth. And the lady next to us said, it's the runway lights. So we landed in London, and we had a few days in Caerphilly, Wales, where I got to meet some relatives, and that was a really special time. And we laid my dad to rest on Mount Rudgery, the same place where his younger brother was also laid to rest. Ashes, by the way. just so you know, we didn't actually do a weekend at Bernie's type of thing, because that would have cost an extra plane ticket. We decided to book a weekend away to Paris, although it wasn't actually a weekend. I think it was a Thursday and a Friday, or maybe it was a Wednesday and a Thursday, I don't know. But we decided to book a couple of nights in Paris because, hello, Kiwi girls. Well, actually, Rosemary's not a Kiwi, although she is, I think, by you know, naturalization, or what they call it. And she's English. And anyway, all the way from New Zealand, of course, we're gonna nip across the channel to Paris. I'm a nervous flyer. I'm also very claustrophobic, so the thought of being in a tunnel under the ocean, you know, crossing the channel, was actually quite terrifying. If I recall, I'd had a little bit of a cough, and I wasn't feeling the best. I probably picked something up on the plane. I had oh, what is that thing called that plays music and you put earphones? iPad! No, I know this. iPod. iPod. I had one of those MP3 players. It wasn't an iPod. I'm not that fancy. It was just a little wee square thing. And I was like listening to that to take my mind off being underground or underwater where sharks swim, and if it all kind of cracked open, we'd all be flooded and killed, and sharks would eat our remains. Or piranhas. Do they have piranhas in the channel? You know, my friend Rosemary, she's trying to talk to me, and I'm going, yes, I know, great. And she goes, you're shouting. And I'm going, what? No, I'm not shouting. And the man sitting across from me said, yes, you are. Anyway, by the time we got there, it was very confusing because I don't speak French. It was very naughty of me to visit a country where I don't speak the language, I suppose. I had a phrase book. It was actually a picture book, and you point to pictures of what you want, like the toilet. As soon as we got off there was like people everywhere. This lady came up and she's going, and I don't speak French. I'm sorry. I apologize to the French people for destroying your language with my bad attempt at trying to convey what was going on. I was very confused, and then she thrust a piece of paper and she wanted me to write my name on it, and I wrote my name, and she gave me a kiss, and I thought, oh gosh, the French, they're so friendly. And then she held out her hand, and it took me a while to click. She actually wanted money from me, and I said, oh no, I don't have, we didn't have a lot of cash. We had a bit, but not a lot, and we did have access to a money machine through our international little money card. And then she got very upset with me, and she started shouting at me, and there were people everywhere, and they were all wanting money. I couldn't believe it. We managed to find a taxi, and I'm not sure, I think we were overcharged to get to the hotel. We didn't know anything. We were very naive. We should have studied before we'd gone to France. We got to the hotel. They were lovely. They were very friendly. I was feeling a little bit squidgy. We thought, you know, we'd better go out and eat, but I wasn't hungry. I was feeling really icky. And I was having trouble focusing and having trouble standing upright and feeling very, very nauseous, not to mention the bad cough that I had. And it was taking me a while to actually realize this, but I was having the beginnings of a vertigo attack, and I should have known because I am very prone to having those. I've had them before and they're actually quite disabling. Not fun when you actually cannot stand upright and you feel like you feel like you're on some kind of boat or something and nothing's balanced because your inner ear is just not coping with something. We went to a restaurant in Paris. We didn't know quite what to order, and I think I got eggs, and we kind of found afterwards that he kind of ripped us off. There was actually extra things on the receipt, but we couldn't think to question at the time. One, because we didn't understand the language. We had attempted to go to McDonald's, but it was those automatic machine things, and we didn't know how they worked because we didn't have them in New Zealand at that stage. Anyway, at one point I just had to go and throw up this very expensive food that we bought. It was an omelette, and I managed to convey to the gentleman who was working the restaurant or cafe, it was more of a cafe, we went to a Paris cafe, that I needed to go to the wharepaku. I think I said toilet. I was really having difficulty standing up, and he pointed me down to a dungeon. And as I'm going down these spiral stairs, really struggling to remain focused, and I actually found my way, but I was beginning to wonder if he was actually sending me down to below and he was going to lock me in a cellar or something and keep me as some kind of slave, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was getting a little bit frightened, but I did actually find a place to throw up. We got back to the hotel. I was not able to actually function. So it became apparent that I needed medical attention. My lovely friend Rosemary, she organised for a doctor to come to the hotel room. That cost a lot of money. It had to be paid in cash on the spot. This lovely Frenchman comes to the door, you know, knock, knock, knock. And by this stage, I'm on the hotel floor, leaning against the bed. And I just looked up at him and I said, be impressed. I was like, parlez-vous anglais? Kneeling on the hotel floor, my pants kind of down, leaning against the bed, and there's a man I've never met before approaching me from behind with a needle. Went in my butt. Rosemary says he was quite hot, so there is that. Hoping that my little buttocks were presentable for him. Then poor Rosemary had to go over to a chemist. She had to go from place to place getting medications for me, and her French was kind of dated back to the 1960s, but she did very well, and I started to feel better the next day. And so we did actually go out, just very bravely went out. We managed to catch a train on the metro. There were more people asking for money. Someone did say I was Bella when Rosemary was taking my photo, which was confusing because my name's not Bella, it's Angela. And we're walking along after we got off the train. This is us walking. That's me and that's Rosemary because she's shorter. Wait, what? That's me and that's Rosemary because she's shorter. We were looking for the Eiffel Tower. Do you think we could find the Eiffel Tower? And then we walked around this building, and then the Eiffel Tower actually jumped out at us. It jumped at us. We were like, there's the Eiffel Tower, and people are looking like, yeah. And there were a lot of people around the Eiffel Tower with little Eiffel Towers, everyone trying to sell their little Eiffel Towers. Basically, the trip to Paris was People took money. I threw up in a strange toilet. I got a needle in my butt. We saw the Eiffel Tower and we went back to London. Well, I never said it was going to be an exciting story, did I? At least now you know I've been to Paris.